Hey, John, this is Eric.
Yes, sir.
Hey, John, speaking about the hot wash and the AAR, one of the things that, in order not to break your back and go to the well too many times with sick people, Tom and Pat Rivers have agreed to pick up on the AAR portion. And so Pat will be consolidating a lot of the AAR reports, coming up with what I would say is a common picture of what the feedback seems to be, where there seems to be gap, where we need to do some tweaks, what we may need to do to adjust doctrine, so that we have a look ahead and we arrow out to our risk level to talk about what we need to do for the 2016 if we do this again, which we're hopefully going to do. So I just wanted to put a plug in for Pat and Tom that they're going to be looking for the AARs as we start to close this out in another 5 or 6 months and then come up with a final report on this. So I appreciate your help, and I think the important part of this is the hot wash. It shows us where we're at the level sets. And you might remember there was sort of a 50-50 split between the DDEs as to how we wanted to execute with importing evaluators and not having that in-house talent used, or using it in-house and learning from sort of crawl, walk, run phase of what we don't know, fix that, and then we'll be able to open that up to a wider community. So it was logic was prevailing on both sides, but at the end of the day, the ultimate idea is to capture what we have and then fix that and then embody that into the final AR document that Pat's going to be working. So thanks, John, and Pat, and you guys for putting this together.
No problem on my side. I don't know how Pat feels, but I definitely thought it was great to be able to have some consistency on the evaluation criteria.
Yeah, it's important that we speak with one voice and to find out what's systemic and what's not, what's an anomaly, and having that vision. And of course, we'll hold some AAR meetings and I'll host some conference calls to capture this. So I'm sure we're going to get some rich data that we can draw from and some good solid ups and downs of what we know and where we need to go. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Well, Eric and Donald, just to provide a little bit of additional clarity on the AAR process. So what Pat and I are doing is trying to build a structure by which to follow on the AAR, and some of the key components that we're looking for from across all of the division and the evaluation of the DRMTs, i.e. some of the consistency elements moving forward. In a subsequent conversation with Craig Collier, Craig's gonna, has kind of signed up NHQ to probably do a lion's share of the consolidation of the writing. Pat and I will kind of come up and steer the process, very similar to like what we're seeing here with Jono and the evaluation. We're going to provide the structure of it, but Craig is kind of signed up to make sure that from the writing standpoint, we're not relying too much on the field to put all that together.
Roger, yeah, there is always that concern that, we don't want to have too much inbreeding, but, we want to make sure that the headquarters and the field are aligned in whatever we do. So thanks, Tom, appreciate that.
Any other questions on the evaluation criteria? Any other questions on the evaluation criteria, or at least on the checklist that we looked at? Perfect. And just kind of going in line with what Tom and Eric were mentioning on the actual hot wash, I think a lot of what they're describing is going to be possible through this exercise of a thorough hot wash at the end of the exercise periods. The hot wash is super essential for that. That's a very technical term, by the way. So looking at a way to provide all participants with the opportunity to voice how they felt the exercise went, both from an exercise design perspective, as well as from the core capabilities that we're trying to build amongst our regional teams in the DRMT, are essential. So the feedback during the hot wash will inform the development of the after action, as Eric and Tom had mentioned, and allow us to really start to think through a smart way of programming future training dollars, future exercise dollars as a way of our corrective action plan. So you as the evaluator are responsible for conducting the hot wash for each of your locations. Again, most of you on the line are going to be at that DRO headquarters, but you'll have district evaluators doing their hot wash, as well as possibly site evaluators, depending on how functional you go. And other exercises, if sites are stood up in DRO headquarters and headquarters for the districts are in separate location, they can be conducted independently. It all depends on how geographically spread out you are and how large your exercise is, but you guys get the idea. Essentially, you as the evaluator are responsible for conducting the hot wash for the specific location you're responsible for. It's open to everybody, players, observers, controllers, those that supported coordination of the exercise. And I have to really say that for us in North Central, having the entire regional team there was critical throughout the exercise, not just for the hot wash. Communicators, executive directors, fund development staff, volunteer services, all of the critical components of what would be a real event were there and also present during the hot wash. Obviously, all points of view are needed in order for us to build capacity and future exercise development. Documenting your feedback, make sure that you're taking good notes. You should ask your controller or a willing participant to assist in note taking during the hot wash. If you're trying to be an evaluator and also do the hot wash, it's going to lead you to not, at least I can't write and also facilitate. So having somebody there to take notes for you may be in your best interest. And obviously using tools and techniques such as newsprint can be really helpful in order to facilitate good capture. This is just an example following the hot wash, how feedback should be compiled. We recommend this just for streamlining. For site locations, the site evaluator and the REMG, the Regional Exercise Management Group Scenario Planner, receive the hot wash feedback. At the district level, it's the district evaluator, and obviously you guys and gals, the DRO headquarters, it's the lead evaluator and the actual scenario planner. I won't emphasize much more on the after action, but we are committed to capturing what we've exercised as part of our corrective action plan. And the reports will ensure that we look through each of the lessons learned as well as opportunities for growth. So part of what you're doing as an evaluator is to ensure that that critical feedback is being designed. Individuals responsible for finalizing, it is great that we have that support from Eric and Tom, looking at the headquarters support. And a large part of what we'll do is work with each of the evaluators that are lead evaluators and connecting with the components that Tom and Eric mentioned for next steps. I'm going to skip down a couple of pages here, just kind of some closing comments, then I want to open it up for questions. Again, looking through the documents that are in the lower center of your screen, you'll find the PowerPoint presentation and all the evaluation checklists that you need in order to conduct the exercise, as well as if I were to start anywhere, I would start with what's considered the exercise management team packet, as well as the evaluator's guide. So I am going to pause there, and I'm going to see if there are any questions. And I'm also going to pull up, you can copy and paste this web link on your screen that has access to the network neighborhood.